sure that your hips are higher than your knees. So that might mean that you need to prop yourself up on a block or a pillow. And then once you find that nice tall seat, just close down your eyes. And notice if you're leaning slightly forward in your seat. Well, with your eyes closed, you can tune into what we call proprioception, which is how our mind, our brain, thinks we are orientated in space. And for many of us, we'll lean forward in our seat and jut our chin and our head forward, which puts a lot of strain on our trapezoid muscle, so that upper back muscle. Now see if you can just draw your chin in a slight amount and then take the back of your head and press it behind you just a little bit, causing you to lean back in space. And now you'll feel as though the skull, your head, is positioned more on top of the middle of your chest, your heart center, which you're then trying to align on top of the bowl of your pelvis. And once you've found that nice tall seat, see if you can make your spine longer by pressing into your sitting bones and then lifting upwards through the top of your head. And draw your elbows closer in towards your waistline, which means you might need to draw your elbows back in space. Connect your index finger pad and your thumb pad and let the other three fingers spread nice and wide with the palms facing down on top of your thighs. Let your jaw be really slack here and your lips slightly parted as you start to transition into your practice by breathing with more intention. And breath by breath, make your inhales a little longer. And attempt to balance out the length of your exhale with that of your inhale. The yoga term for this is samavriti, which means equal part breathing. And as you move into your practice, see if you can develop a slight constriction to the back of your throat so that your breath has an oceanic sound to it. This is our Ujjayi breath, and it's a warming, victorious breath that helps to stimulate our nervous system. And just a few conscious breaths like this can relax our nervous system and set us more at ease. Let's bring a count to our breath and attempt to elongate it breath by breath all together. We're coming to the bottom of an exhale and take a pause. And we'll breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elongating for 6. Inhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Building up to 10, we'll go to 7. Inhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale slowly for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and breathe out. And gather your hands towards your chest. Press your palms lightly into one another. Take a few more deep breaths here, noticing how quickly and easily you've transitioned from your life off of the mat to this time on your mat, how focused your mind is, how this quality of calm and peace has washed over you. And take a big breath in, sit up taller in your seat. And as you breathe out, bow your head towards your hands. And set an intention for your practice, something that you are seeking more of in your life. Not necessarily an objective, but perhaps a value or a sentiment, a quality, an emotion. And taking a big breath in. Sigh the breath out. Blink your eyes open and make your way into a downward facing dog. So we'll move our props to the top of our mat so that they're handy if you should need them. Take your hands so that they are shoulder distance apart at least. Wrist crease is parallel with the front edge of your mat. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. We'll take 10 slow breaths here. We're pressing into the hands, elongating the spine, lifting the sitting bones nice and high. Taking any movements that feel good for you in your downward facing dog. Bending into one knee, the other. Walking out your dog, as this is called. Swaying the hips side to side. Taking the weight more from one hand to the other as you do so that you're stretching into the side waist and the rib cage. Perhaps rolling up onto the balls of the feet, shifting the weight forward more into the hands, and grounding down through the heels as you press firmer into the hands and melt your heart. And keep steady with your breath, attempting to maintain the evenness, the balance between the breath in and the breath out. And 3 more whole breaths here. Moving into some stillness for the last couple breaths. With your next inhale, float high up onto the balls of your feet. Bend deeply into your knees. Tiptoe your feet to the top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Feet come hip distance apart. Grab hold of opposite elbows. Tuck your chin to the top of your head, point straight down. A generous bend into your knees is welcome here so that the belly lies on the thighs. Move your chin more towards your chest so the top of your head points straight down. And then take your forearms and move them more towards the back of your head so they're out of your gaze. Now, for many of us, we'll start to roll the weight towards the pinky toe edges of the feet. Think about pressing more into the inner heel and the big toe mound. And then see if you can free up your toes here, which means you might lift them away from the mat and unclench them, separating them nice and wide before reconnecting them down. Press into your heels, lift your sitting bones really high, straightening through the legs a little more, and then suck the belly up and in and see if you can take more weight towards the toes, creating space in the front of the hip flexors and making the upper body really hang over your lower body. Some swaying side to side might allow you to find some more depth here as you shift through the sideways. Moving the weight from one foot to the other. Settling into center, release the forearms. Take the palms of your hands to your shins. Straighten the arms. Move the crown of the head forward as the back becomes flat and parallel with the floor. Press into your heels more and send your sitting bones back in space. Press more into your hands and reach the crown of your head forward, creating more space between your earlobes and your shoulders, the tops of your shoulders. Pull your navel up and in here. Use the core to support the back. Take one more breath in. See if you can press the feet firmer down as the spine gets really long. And as you breathe out, soften into your knees, land your belly onto your thighs, take your hands back towards the floor and find a fold. Notice if it's quite a bit deeper than before you took that fold. And pressing down into your feet, reach your hands wide and then take them all the way up overhead. As the hands reach high, the legs go really strong. Palms come together to touch. Slide your hands down towards your heart space and breathe out. Release your hands by your sides. Take a breath in. Reach the arms all the way up overhead. As you exhale, bend into your knees. Send the arms wide. Begin to take your belly towards your thighs. Come towards the floor. As you come into the fold, press into the feet, lengthen the legs, and pour the crown of the head towards the mat as the sitting bones lift higher. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Hands come to your shins. Crown of the head shoots forward. Exhale and fold. Right foot will stay where it is. Draw your left heel towards your bottom and point your foot, your toes. And press more into the sole of your right foot and make that leg really strong. Start to straighten through the left leg, sending it back behind you. As the leg comes totally straight, squeeze that glute up and in. Bend your right knee as though in slow motion to land the left toes all the way down and back your mat. Plant your hands to either side of your right foot and take your right foot to meet your left foot into a plank pose. So grip into your fingertips, hollow out your armpits, look slightly forward on your mat so your neck is nice and long, and then see if you can take the back of your neck and make it a little straighter by lifting the back of your head. Press out through your heels, get buoyant through your hips, tone the belly. Take 2 more slow breaths here. Breathing in and out with ease. We'll take the hips up and back with an inhale, using the core to elevate the sitting bones. Step the feet in slightly if you need so that the feet are hip distance apart, hands are shoulder distance apart. Press more into the hands to lift the sitting bones. Take some deep, luxurious breaths in and out. And come high up onto the balls of the feet. Ripple forward into your plank pose, shoulders stack above the wrists. Land your knees down onto your mat. Bend into your elbows. Take your chest all the way down. Untuck the toes. Take your hands off of your mat onto the wood beside you. Elbows point up. Pressing into your fingertips, which have come to little tents. Start to ripple the chest away. Chin stays tucked towards the chest until the last moment when lift high and you gaze forward. Exhale, belly lands, ribs land, chin tucks to the chest. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, rippling away. Lifting crown of the head, looking forward, easing shoulders onto the back as you start to lower. 1 more time. Ensure that the tops of the feet press firmly down as you come away from the floor. And exhale to release. Hands plant beneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Press the mat away from you, coming up through plank or modified plank, and take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. The right leg will float up and back into your 3-legged dog. Keep pressing into your hands here. See if you can make your right leg even stronger, engaging all the little muscles around that right knee. Ensure that the pinky toe is pointing straight down towards the mat, so the foot's not opening out towards the right. Start to bend into your knee so your heel comes towards your bottom. Press more into your hands. Lift the knee higher first, and then start to curl that leg open, lifting the knee towards the ceiling and pressing the foot towards the left. Notice if that right shoulder has lifted and the left shoulder has dipped. Square off the shoulders by lifting the back of your left shoulder and rolling the right armpit towards the floor. That might mean that you lose some of the height from the right knee, but that's okay. You want to keep the shoulders nice and square. Take 1 more big breath in, press more into your hands. As you exhale, round your right knee towards your chest and ripple forward into a tiger curl. Inhale, sweep that right leg up and back. Knee moves towards your chest, land your foot between the hands. Back heel will roll down. We're coming into warrior 2 pose. Left arm circles the body and reaches back, and the right arm reaches forward. Sink into your front knee. Press into the pinky toe edge of your back foot. Take your gaze out over your right middle finger. Now really feel into the body here. Where you're orientated in space as that left hand reaches back. Notice if you are pulling forward, use that left hand behind you to position the upper body directly over the bowl of your pelvis, over your hips. And suck your navel up and in and use your core to help lift the rib cage a little higher, the chest a little prouder, the crown of your head upwards. Take 3 more breaths here, seeing if you can sink that left inner thigh towards your right heel. But at the same time as the hips sink, the feet press and create lifting action through the body. Take 1 more breath in. Bend a little deeper into that front knee. Press into your front foot, straighten the legs, reach your arms high. Bending back into the knee, take the hands in behind you, clasp your hands. Bend into the elbows, take your fists that you've created into your lower back, and then slowly start to send that fist down towards the floor as you squeeze the shoulders together and lift your sternum, your chest. Look up, press into your back foot, start to hinge forward. Take your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. And stick your right butt cheek out just slightly here, and then notice how it feels to scoop it underneath you and how the chest seems to move closer towards the front edge of your mat rather than towards the side edge. Keep strong through your back leg. Keep pressure into your right foot so the upper body stays buoyant. We'll hold for a couple more breaths. See if you can squeeze your shoulders more onto the back body, make your arms straighter, hugging the palms of the hands as best as you can in towards one another. Can you lift your fists a little higher? Well, from here, we're going to release the hands back to our lower back. Take the left hand to the floor. Pivot onto your left toes. Sweep your right arm down towards your mat, forward, and then up towards the ceiling, making a big circle with that arm. We'll do that 2 more times. Right arm reaches back, down, and forward, and then up. Let's do that 1 more time, a big circle through the arms. Nice. Getting into the shoulders and holding this time with the right arm elevated high. Bend deep into that right knee. Press into the left hand so that you're not sinking into that shoulder, but lifting up and out of the shoulder to take your right fingertips higher. Squeeze the left glute up and in. Make that back leg really, really strong. Take 1 more big inhale. As you exhale, take the right hand down to the inside of your right foot. Heel toe right foot towards the edge of your mat. Come up onto your fingertips. Lift your chest. Look forward. As you exhale, start to lower your back knee down onto the mat. Nice. Left hand will plant. Right hand comes to the right knee. Press the hand into the knee and lean that right shoulder back in space. So look up towards your ceiling. Tuck your chin lightly towards your chest and let the back of your head do the leaning back in space rather than letting the whole head fall back. Now press into your back knee and into your right heel and squeeze and hug your inner thighs inward. Pull the navel up and in rather than just letting it pour outwards. Let's take 1 more breath here. Right hand comes to the mat. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee, and we're moving to Skandasana. So the back heel lands. Hands move along your mat back towards that left foot. Flip onto the heel of your right foot. You can come up onto the ball of that left foot, lifting the heel if that feels nice. If you're quite flexible, maybe the whole sole of the foot is on the mat. We'll drive that right heel down into the floor. Look towards your toes. Make sure that you're spreading them nice and wide. The left hand will reach out in the direction that that left knee is pointing. Connect the elbow and the inner knee to help opening through that hip. Take the right arm up towards the ceiling and follow with your gaze towards the thumb. Press the back of your hand back in space. Make your chest really broad. Big inhale. Right hand comes down onto the mat. Take your hands towards the top of your mat. Pivot back onto your left toes. Turn your right foot to face forward. Plant the hands firmly. Take your right foot to meet your left foot into plank pose. Breathe in. Send your hips up and back using your core as you breathe out. We'll come up onto the balls of your feet. Ripple forward into plank. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your mat. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet come down. 3 cobra poses, inhaling, lifting the back of the head, lifting the chest, drawing the elbows back in space. Exhale to lower forward and down. 2 more, inhale, lift. And exhale to release. Take 1 more like that, breathing in, float away from the floor, and breathing out to soften back down. Tuck your toes. Knees can stay planted or not, your practice, your choice. Strongly press away from the floor and send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And pressing forward and down into your hands, make your spine really long, lift your sitting bones high. Find the line of energy down the backs of your legs as you ground down through your heels. Inhale to come up onto the balls of the feet. Tiptoe the feet towards the top of your mat. And breathe in, halfway lift. And breathe out and fold. Bend into the knees, sweep the arms wide, reach them up overhead. As you come to standing, the legs get strong as the hands reach high. Exhale, hands towards your heart space. Release your hands by your side. Breathe in, arms reach wide, they reach up. Soften into your knees, forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Left foot will stay planted. Draw your right heel in towards your bottom, point your toes. Press down into your left foot, make your leg really strong. See if you can lean slightly further forward here. Crown of the head points down. Slowly start to straighten through that right leg. As the leg comes straight, engage the glute, lift the heel a little higher, bend slowly into your left knee, and land the right toes to the back of your mat. Plant your hands firmly down, and take your left foot to meet your right foot, plank pose. Hips go up and back, downward facing dog. Breathe in, ripple forward, plank. Breathe out, lower down all the way. Untuck the toes, drive the tops of the feet down, cobra pose for 3 breaths, rippling away. Exhale, hold here. Inhale, strongly press into the tops of your feet. Maybe you can start to float the hands away. Exhale, soften just a tiny bit. Inhale, lift a little higher, and exhale to release. Tuck your toes. Press the mat away from you, plank pose. Hips go up and back, down dog. The left leg will float up and back. We'll keep pressing into your hands. Make that lifted leg really strong, pressing out to the sole of the foot. Roll the pinky toe so that it points straight down. Keep pressing into your hands. See if you can lift that leg a little higher. Start to bend into the knee, taking the heel towards your bottom. Lift the knee just a little bit again, and then slowly start to roll that hip open, taking the knee out towards the left and up towards the ceiling. Press more into your left hand so shoulders stay square to the floor. Press the sole of that lifted leg towards the right. See if you can draw your right inner thigh more into the midline. Take a breath in, press stronger into your hands. As you breathe out, round your left knee towards your chest. Tiger curl, squeeze it in super tight. See if you can touch the knee to the nose. Inhale, sweep the leg up and back. Knee towards your chest, land the foot between the hands. A warrior 2 pose, back heel's gonna roll down, hands cartwheel around the body, right arm back, left arm forward, bend deep into your front knee. Immediately take your gaze out over your left middle finger, connect into your back foot, engage the thigh a lot so the glute squeezes up and in. Notice again where your upper body is positioned in space. So for a lot of us, we lean forward, but we want the head to be stacked above the heart space, which is stacked above the bowl of the pelvis. So that might mean that you need to use your right fingertips behind you to pull the upper body back in space. Take 3 more breaths here, sinking more into that front knee, letting the hips settle, but the inner thigh squeeze, helping to create an uplifting action through the torso. 1 more breath in. Sink a little lower with the breath out. Press into the feet, straighten the front leg, lift the hands high. As you exhale, front knee bends, hands clasp behind you. Bend into the elbows, take your hands up into your lower back. As the hands start to slide back towards the floor, squeeze the shoulders, lift the gaze, lift the heart. Press more into your back foot, hinge forward, connecting left shoulder to the inside of your left knee. Notice if you're moving your chest more towards that outer edge of your mat. See if you can move it towards the top edge more. Press into your front foot, squeeze the shoulders, lift your fists a little higher. Find some deep breaths. Don't forget about your back leg. Make the foot press firm into your mat. Make the muscles of your right leg nice and strong. And squeeze the shoulders a little tighter. Can you lift the fists of your hands a little higher? And slowly releasing your hands down towards your lower back. Land your right hand to the inside of your left foot. Roll onto the ball of your back foot, lifting the heel. Come into your twist, looking towards the left, rotating your chest towards the left. Release your left hand towards the floor, sweep it forward, sweep it up, and take it back. Let's do 2 more big circles with the shoulder, or the arm, getting into the shoulder. And this time around, holding that left hand nice and high, coming into your twist. Get stronger through your back leg, press more into your right hand, lift that left hand higher, shoot the crown of the head forward, bend deeper into your left knee. See if you can pull the belly in and then move it more towards your left thigh, leaning back through that top shoulder. 1 more big breath in. Left hand lands to the inside of your left foot. Heel toe that left foot out wide. Land the back knee down. Breathe in, come up onto your fingertips, look forward. Land your right hand onto the floor. Take your left hand to your left thigh. Press into the thigh as you lean slightly back. Hug the inner thighs in. Rather than just letting the head fall back, keep the chin moving towards the chest and lean back through the head. Make 1 more inhale here. Left hand comes to the floor. Lift your right knee away from the mat. Land the heel down. Begin to pivot or rotate towards that right edge of your mat. Bend into the right knee as you lift the left foot away, coming into Skandasana. Hands come in towards the body. Take your right hand and move it out in the direction that your right knee is facing until the elbow connects with the inner knee. Keep driving that left heel down and slowly start to lift that left arm high. Gaze will follow. Lean back through your top shoulder. And drive that left heel down into your mat. Flex your toes. Take 1 more breath in here. Left hand lands to the floor. Start to walk your hands back towards the top edge of your mat. Pivot all 10 toes to face forward. Take hands, connect them firmly down, and take your left foot to meet your right foot into plank pose. Shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And press forward and down into your hands. Lift the hips nice and high, ground down through your heels. With an inhale, ripple forward into your plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga for an upward facing dog. Rolling over the toes, lift the chest, crown of the head comes high. Cobra pose is always an option instead as a back bend here. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. Make the tops of the feet strong. Downward dog, hips go up and back. And press into your hands, lift the sitting bones high, ground down through your heels. Take a steady, even breath in and out. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Tiptoe the feet forward towards the top of your mat. Breathe in, halfway lift. And breathe out and fold. Sweep the hands wide, reach them all the way up towards the ceiling. Leaning back in space, taking a little back bend. And immediately come into a fold, bending into the knees, send the arms wide, and then down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. The right foot will stay planted. Draw your left heel towards your bottom, crane pose. Pour the crown of the head down. Knees are in line with one another. Make that right leg even stronger and slowly lengthen that left leg long down your mat. Lift from the heel, bend into your right knee, land the left toes down. Hands plant, right foot goes up and back straight away, three-legged dog. Bend into the knee, open the hips, scorpion pose. We're moving into our wild thing. You can stay here if that works better for you. Otherwise, you're rolling onto the outside of the pinky toe, landing the right foot in behind you. Take all the weight into the left hand. Start to curl the chest up towards the ceiling. Reach out through your right fingertips towards the left. Make your left leg really straight and strong. You're up on the ball of the right foot. Squeeze the glutes. Lift the belly button higher. Three-legged dog. Right hand plants. Roll back onto the ball of the left foot. Lift that right leg nice and high. Inhale. Knee towards the chest. Tiger curl. Connect the knee and the nose. Inhale. Sweep that right leg up and back. Knee towards the chest. Land the foot between the hands. Back heel lowers down. Warrior two pose. Left arm back, right arm forward. 3 breaths. Settle into the front knee. Breathe. Straightening from through the front leg. Lift the hands really high. As you exhale, bend back into your right knee. Take your hands in behind you. Clasp the hands, lift the chest. Start to send the hands back down towards the floor and lean forward over that front leg. Three breaths. And releasing the hands back into your lower back. Take the left hand down to the floor, pivot onto your right toes, reach that right hand high. Tummy into your twist. Flip the palm to face forward, stretch the hand forward, land the hand to the inside of your right foot, heel toe that right foot wide, land your back knee down, or reach the right hand forward, up towards the ceiling, and then back in space. Now either staying here, or you'll bend into the back knee and catch that back foot. You can always come into the first version of this pose we took as well with the right hand to the right knee. Otherwise, you're in the bind. We'll press into your back left knee and squeeze that glute in slightly. Hug the inner thighs here so you're buoyant through the hips, not just sinking forward and down. There's activation there. And then lean back through your top shoulder. And slowly release. Left toes land down. Right arm circles the body, making a big arc. The hand comes to the inside of the foot. Turn the toes to face forward. Lift the back knee. Roll the back heel down. Skandasana. Straighten through the right leg. Come up onto the heel. Bend into your left knee. Now options for you here. One, you're going to come into the pose we took prior with that right arm up and the left hand out towards the left. Second option is you'll flip the palm, bend into the elbow, and snake that hand around towards the left hip. Third option is you'll bend into the left elbow, dropping the shoulder to the inside of that left knee, and then taking that left hand, reaching it behind you, flipping the palm to face backwards, and sneaking the hand in behind to try and clasp the right hand. If you come into the bind, then press into your left foot, lift the chest, and start to roll that top shoulder back in space. And then maybe you fall out like I've just done, which is cool. And one of the benefits of practicing it at home is maybe you're more confident to try some of these poses. And we'll slowly release and meet at the top of our mat. Hands flanking either side of the right foot as you pivot onto the left toes. Palms plant, right foot meets the left foot. Downward facing dog. Breathe in, ripple forward into plank. Lower down as you exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come high up onto the balls of your feet, bend into your knees. Hop your feet towards your wrists. Or step them forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, two-fold. Sweep arms wide, reach them all the way up overhead at the top of the breath in. Perhaps you lean back in space. And free descending back towards the floor as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your heart forward. Breathe out and fold. Left foot plant. Take right heel towards your bottom. Press down into your left foot. Lift the hips higher. Roll the weight down into the crown of the head. Align the knees. Slowly start to straighten through that right leg. Squeeze the glute. Lift the heel higher. Bend into the left knee. Land the foot towards the back of your mat. Plant hands firmly. Three-legged dog. Left leg goes up and back. Knee bends. Option to come into scorpion pose or continuing to roll onto the pinky toe edge of your right leg, right foot. Keep that leg straight. Land your left toes back behind you. Start to roll your chest up towards the ceiling. Reach back through that left hand. Press more into the index finger mound of your right hand. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your hips higher. Three-legged dog. Rolling back over, pivoting onto the right toes. Lift that left leg nice and high. Tiger curl, knee towards your nose, ripple forward. Breathe in, sweep it up and back. Knee towards your chest, land your foot between the hands. Back heel rolls down, cartwheel the arms around the body, warrior two. Nice, sink deep into your front knee. Take some steady breaths here. With a breath in, straighten through your front leg, lift your hands nice and high. As you breathe out, bend into that knee, clasp your hands in behind you. Bend into the elbows, take your fists up into the lower back, lift your chest. As you breathe out, squeeze the shoulders, lower your hands behind you. Press into your back foot, lean forward. Lift your hands as high up above you as you can. Now stick your left glute out in space and notice how your chest rolls more towards the right. See if you can scoop that underneath you and behind you so the chest actually moves more towards that top edge of your mat. Keep pressing into the front foot, press into the back foot, squeeze the shoulders, lift the hands higher. One more breath in. Releasing the hands to your lower back. Plant your right hand down, pivot onto your right toes. Lift your left hand high, find your twist. Flip the palm to face forward, reach that hand as far forward as you can. Land the hand to the inside of the foot, heel toe the foot wide. Back knee lowers down, left arm reaches forward, circles up towards the ceiling and reaches back in space. Option to stay here, or you bend into the back knee and catch the foot. The other option, once again, is to take the left hand to that left knee. Press into your back knee here and into your front heel and hug the inner thigh so the body feels lifted away rather than sinking down. Couple more breaths, leaning back to your left shoulder. And slowly releasing. Circle the left arm up, forward, land it down. So tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Turn your left toes forward, land your back heel down. Start to straighten through your left leg, walk your hands towards your right foot, bend into your right knee. Right, so we're in Skandasana pose. Option to come into the bind here, or option to stay just as you are, always honoring your body in your practice. If you're moving towards the bind, you'll take right hand out in the direction the right knee is pointing. Lift the left arm high, flip the palm, bend into the elbow, sneak that hand as far around towards the right outer hip as you can. Bend into the right elbow so the shoulder slides down towards the floor. Reach that right hand out. Start to reach the hand behind you. Flip the palm and see if you can snuggle the fingertips out and around. Now press into the right foot. Start to lift the chest so there's this connection that occurs with that right arm and the front of the right knee, and then lean back through the top shoulder and maybe fall out of this side like I did on both sides too. And then you can laugh at yourself or just giggle at me and try it again. And the thing about practice is that eventually you get it, and without trying and practicing, you'll never get there. And we'll slowly release. And take your hands towards the front of your mat. Pivot onto the back toes. the left foot to meet the right foot, plank pose. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa, rippling forward into plank. Lowering down, breathing in, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. The right leg will float up and back. And we're moving into pigeon pose. The knee comes towards the right wrist, the foot goes towards the left wrist. Lower your back knee down, and then start to lengthen that leg back and down your mat. So notice if you're really congested and pouring forward, all ready to start, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and start to press the heel back in space so you feel the hip shift back, and you might need to do that a couple times until the leg is nice and lengthened back. Then come up onto your fingertips and lift your chest. We're gonna make this a really active pigeon pose. So you might wanna use a prop underneath your right hip to help lift yourself up. So that might be your block or your pillow, whatever you were using before. You might want to try this with the prop just to see how it goes for you. You can always take it out or add it in. Well, you're pressing into your front shin and hugging the inner thighs here so that the upper body feels buoyant. It's as though the energy is suctioning up into the bowl of your pelvis and then lifting the spine nice and high. We'll take a few breaths here. And always take your hand up onto that front shin if it lets you make your chest prouder. And then if you want to go even further, you might take your hands towards your heart. And this is where that prop underneath you might help you to start finding that elevation. So perhaps if this is something you're working towards, the prop will help you. And if you don't need the prop, that's fine too. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Keep pressing into your front shin. Hug those inner thighs towards one another. Pull the energy up through the pelvis. Pull the navel up and in. See if you can pull your solar plexus up and in. Tuck your chin just a little bit here rather than jutting it forward. 1 more breath in. Hands come down to the floor. Remove any prop that you were using and allow yourself to fold forward. We'll take 5 breaths here. 5 really even and long breaths. It might help you to bring a count to those breaths. 3 more. Last breath in. Stay for the whole breath out. Pressing into your elbows, come back to your hands. Tuck your back toes. Lift the back knee. Float the hips by pressing into the hands. Pull the core up and in. Draw the knee towards your chest. As slowly as you can, shift that leg up and back into 3-legged dog. Bend into the knee, open through the hip. Optional wild thing, rolling over onto the pinky toe to the foot, landing the right foot behind you, opening the chest. And rolling back over, 3-legged dog. Lift that right knee nice and high. And right foot lands beside the left foot. We'll move into the other side, left leg lifts high. Draw the knee towards the chest. Land the knee in behind the wrist, foot in behind the right wrist. We'll start by lengthening that back leg down the mat. So you might feel as though you're already leaning forward. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, press the heel back. And slowly taking it all the way back and down your mat. We're going to press into the front shin. Lift the chest proudly. Once again, if you use your prop on the other side, you're going to grab it here and stick it underneath you. That will help you to activate and stay lifted here in this pose. We're pressing into the front shin, hug the inner thigh, lean back slightly in space. So you really feel the upper body lifting up. Hands might come to that front shin to help you feel more elevated. Gazes forward. Suction the inner legs towards one another. Magnetize them inwards. Pull up through the pelvis. Pull up through the heart. Maybe you can draw your hands towards your heart space. And take a few more deep breaths here. Hands will land down in front of you. Forearms can come down. You can always remove that prop as you come into the more passive version of this pose. Breathe in and out. One last breath in and out. And pressing into your elbows, come to your forearms. Tuck your back toes, float your hips. Lift that left knee away or shin away from the floor. Squeeze the knee in. So use your core to start and then take that left leg up and back. Coming into scorpion pose or all the way over into your wild thing. Right leg stays strong and straight. Come up onto the balls of the left foot. Lift the heart. And three-legged dog. Left foot lands beside the right foot. Well, breathing in, ripple forward into your plank. Taking a vinyasa, lower down with the exhale. Upward facing dog with your breath in. And downward facing dog. All right, we're going to take this one step further. I'm going to take the right leg up and back. Come into your pigeon pose and set yourself up. Now you can use your prop once again, which will help you to keep more activation. The idea here is to really hug the inner thighs and feel the entire upper body lifting up and away from the floor. Now, perhaps if you didn't take your hands to your heart this last time, this is where you do that now. Or you're going even deeper by bending into your back knee. Left arm reaches up and circles the body. That right hand can stay on the right knee for support. Hand reaches back for the foot. Start to draw the heel in towards you. Maybe if you've come this far, then you can slide the foot along the forearm into the crook of your elbow. So keep hugging the inner thighs up and in, so rather than sinking and falling into the pose, you're lifting up and out of it, and then maybe you can even take that right hand towards the ceiling. Maybe you can go even further by bending into that right elbow and connecting your fingertips. Coming into another bind here, keep pressing into the back knee rather than leaning forward. See if you can take the weight back in space. And we'll slowly release. Hands plant, back toes tuck, back knee lift, squeeze right knee to chest, reach that right leg up and back. Optional wild thing here, rolling over onto the left outer foot, lifting the hips. Three-legged dog to downward facing dog. All right, one more side to go here. Left leg floats up and back. Knee towards the left wrist. Shin lands. Back knee lowers. Lengthen your back leg down your mat. Use your prop if you like having it to help find that activation and lift. Squeeze everything up and in. And start to take your hands towards your heart. So challenge yourself here. We're really open and we've really been engaging our bandhas. Those are those energy locks that suck everything up into the pelvis, our Mula Bandha, and then we have our Uddiyana Bandha. That's our solar plexus block where the navel pulls up and in as though it's lifting up into the middle of the body, the torso. So holding here or bending into that back leg, circling right arm up towards the ceiling and back behind you, catching the foot. So the left hand can come to the left knee here if that gives you more support as you start to draw the left heel in and perhaps slide the foot along the forearm into the crook of your elbow. So perhaps this is where you're staying, or you're taking that right arm or left arm, it is, taking it up towards the ceiling, bending into the elbow and seeing if you can catch the fingertips. If you've caught the fingertips, rather than opening towards the right then, see if you can draw the chest forward. Take a few more breaths, really press into the back knee, hug inner thighs, elevate the chest, lean back, and slowly release. Well done. We'll remove your prop if you were using it to help provide that lift. Tuck your back toes, squeeze left knee into your chest. Three-legged dog, wild thing. Back to our three-legged dog and downward facing dog.
We'll need an optional vinyasa for yourself here, rippling forward into the plank.
Your back bends will all meet into our child's pose. Knees wide, chest melting, hands reaching forward. We'll take some big, long breaths here. And one more long breath in. And sigh the breath out. Elevate up onto your knees. Move your knees more towards your hips.
Take your heels wide.
We're coming back into a thigh stretch here. So you might want to grab your prop once again and just stick it underneath you with the heels wider. And then take your hands back in behind you with the fingertips pointing towards your toes. Squeeze the elbows back in space. Lift the chest, press into the tops of your feet. Lift the hips slightly, round the tailbone underneath you, and start to lower. So you might hold here if this feels good for you, and this is where the prop might be nice underneath you. If you want to go further, you might come back onto your forearms. If you're going any further, you don't want to have any prop underneath you, you want to take that out of the way. And if you are, you're coming all the way down onto your back. You can take your hands up above you and clasp opposite elbows. Now, wherever you've chosen to come, press more into the tops of the feet. See if you can connect the entire shin bone down onto the floor, lengthening the knees towards the front edge of your mat. Press the hip bones slightly upwards here. So there's activation happening to create the stretch along the tops of the thighs. Breathe in slowly and deeply. And let the exhales mirror the inhales in length. Let's take 3 more breaths. So if you've come all the way down, be really delicate with yourself as you come up. So you'll take your hands to the soles of your feet, press the elbows down until you can lift a little bit away, tuck the chin, and then one hand comes to the floor, followed by the other. We'll take the hands out in front of us and come up onto the knees to sweep the legs out to one side and then take them out in front of us. How nice. We're coming all the way down onto our backs. So hug your knees in towards your chest as you arrive. Rock yourself side to side. A really lovely hug and embrace to yourself for taking this time to practice. Taking this time to breathe with more intention. Nourishing your mind, body, and spirit. We'll move into some back bending. The soles of the feet will come to the floor. We'll draw your heels as close in towards you as you can. Feet are hip distance apart. You should be able to just tickle your heels with your fingertips. We'll magnetize the inner knees towards one another, but keep them at that hip distance away from each other. And pressing into your feet, start to round the tailbone first. Feel it lift away. Start to roll the lower back away from the floor. The middle back can come up onto the shoulders. From here, you'll take your hands to clasp underneath you. Roll to one side so that you can curl the other shoulder underneath you more and come onto the tricep, outer arm, and then do the same to the other side. Once you find that external rotation through the arms, draw your attention back towards your inner knees, which have likely flopped a little wider. Magnetize those towards one another. Feel the outer hips widen. Press into the feet, into the heels, and lift the hip bones higher. So rather than just puffing the belly out, see if you can tone the belly. Lengthen the crown of your head more towards that back edge of your mat. Loosen your glutes. Notice if they've started to tense. And be really careful here with your neck. You don't want to be looking around at all. The only way your gaze is going is up towards the ceiling, or you're closing your eyes so that you can focus on what you're feeling and how your body feels in space. Press a little more into your feet, magnetize the inner thighs, lift the front hip bones a little higher, and we'll slowly release. Hands come away from one another, tailbone tucks as the back body rounds down back onto the floor. Heel toe your feet wide and allow the knees to simply fall in towards each other. Breathe. So we'll take one more round of back bending. You have the option whether you'd like to come back into the version we just took. Maybe you take a more passive version of the pose by sticking a prop of some sort underneath your bottom, or perhaps you're really feeling energetic and you want to take a big heart opening and you'll come into upward facing bow pose or wheel. Oh, lifting the knees away from one another, spreading them wide, heel to the feet back in line with the hips, toes pointing straight forward, draw the heels as close in towards you as you can. So coming into those first two options of bridge or the modified supported bridge, I'll talk us all through wheel pose. So if you are comfortable with this, you've practiced it before, you'll take your hands up towards your shoulders, turn the fingertips to face towards your shoulders, and then let the elbows squeeze towards each other. Really focus on the squeezing of both the elbows and the knees, and pressing into your feet and into your hands. Start to curl the tailbone, lifting the lower back, middle back, and then shoulders away. Press into the hands to lift the whole back away. Crown of the head points straight down. You're looking at the floor behind you. Press evenly into all the finger pads and knuckles, especially the index finger pad. Notice if you've let your knees gone wide and you're crunching into your lower back, magnetize the knees towards one another, magnetize elbows towards one another. Keep pressing the heart towards that back edge of your mat. A couple more breaths. And we'll slowly tuck chin towards chest and lower down, no matter which back bend you've taken. We'll windshield wiper knees side to side, nice and slow. Allowing that to release from the back, from the spine. And the next time the knees come towards the right, pause with them here. You can slide that right foot on top of the left knee if you'd like a deeper twist. Hands go out at shoulder height. Close down your eyes. Take some deep breaths. And one more breath in. Breathe out. Release that right foot from the top of the left knee if you've taken the deeper version. And we'll take it all the way over towards the left side, lifting the knees and taking them over to the left. Left foot can come on top of the right knee if you're taking a deeper version of this twist before settling both legs down. And close down the eyes and breathe deeply. Last breath in and out. And release that left foot from the top of the right knee. Roll both knees up towards the ceiling. Hug the knees in towards the armpits. Point your toes. Grab hold of the knees with the hands. Squeeze the knees in nice and tight towards the outer ribs. Flatten your entire back onto the mat. Notice if you come up onto the upper back of your skull, and the chin's doing the lifting. See if you can flatten the entire back of your head, tucking chin towards chest. So the entire spine is nice and long, resetting the spine. And from here, you're moving into your last shape, Shavasana. Legs go long, hands come by your sides, palms face up, eyes closed down. The big toes fall outwards. The legs go soft. Notice if the index finger or knuckle is lifted away from the floor, can you roll it down onto the floor so that the elbow creases point upwards? Maybe even the thumb knuckle can then connect, and all 10 of your fingernails. And softening that energy from the hands, allowing them to just be. And tune in here to the softness of your breath, to its rhythm and its cadence. Oxygenating the lungs. You feel that oxygen, that nourishment being transferred through the body by the beating of your heart. The beating of the heart, pumping the blood through the veins. And the blood pumping through the veins, down the legs, into the soles of the feet, down the arms, into the palms of your hands, and into your fingertips. And soften all the muscles in your face. The eyes sink back into their sockets. And enjoy how vibrant and radiant your body feels. Take a breath in together. An audible sigh of the breath out. Stretch your arms slowly overhead. Lengthen the entire body, arc into your back. Yawn your mouth open. Stick out your tongue. Make your way up into a seat, either rocking up or rolling over to one side. To use your hands to press your way up. Eyes can remain closed as you arrive. Let your hands settle by your sides, fingertips caressing your mat beside you. Bring a smile to your face. And flip your palms to face upwards. Keep that smile as you reach the arms wide and up overhead. And palms come together to touch. Slide your hands down towards your heart. And breathe in and bow your head towards your hands. Connect once again with your intention. Bringing it with you off of your mat as you finish your practice. And take a long breath in through your nose. And sigh the breath out of your mouth. And the light in me sees the light in you. And in this we are the same. We are all one. Namaste.